Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a guide to oilseed radish for all platforms. So if you're on PlayStation, PC, Mac, Xbox, this will work for you. This is also a base game with no mods, so that's just what we're using. If there's mods and stuff installed in your game, it might change how things function. This is how it'll function in the base game. So what is oilseed radish? Oilseed radish is basically an all-natural way to add fertilizer to your field. It's kind of optional if you want to use it or not, and I'll explain maybe some benefits of using it and some disadvantages. It's kind of like it's a more difficult way to fertilize, but it might make it easier if you have time, if you're playing with seasons on it. I'll talk about that as well. It's not a harvestable crop, so you're not getting money from it. You get fertilizer from it, essentially. It fertilizes your soil. So it's pretty straightforward to do. Now, if we look at when we can plant it, if we don't have seasons turned on, we can plant it whenever. But if I go in here and go to game settings here and we turn seasons, you don't want pause, nothing will grow. You want to turn it to yes and go back up here. If we go down oilseed radish, you can plant it March through October, and then it says harvest, but you don't harvest it, and I'll explain that when we get to the point of, well, when it grows. So we're gonna go ahead and plant it. It's great. And what this would work well for, since you can add fertilizer, let's say we just harvested, I don't know, let's say it was I don't know, what's something we could have harvested? Maybe let's say, what's a good example for this? Maybe green beans. Maybe we just harvested our green beans right here in August because we planted them in April. Well, we could go ahead and plant oilseed radish, and then we could harvest oilseed radish the next day. Since we can plant it down here, we could harvest it here, which would get us a fertilizer state on the field. That way, our field would have that fertilizer state already set for when we go to do green beans next year. So if you're looking for something to do kind of in the off season, you might be able to coordinate it really well with a lot of the other crops. So just be aware of that. Now this field has 0% fertilized down there bottom right hand corner. And if we go on the map and we go over here, you can see this field not fertilized, just cultivated, which is great. So all you have to do to plant it, you're gonna use a regular seeder. Regular seeders are found, I'm gonna go and start the engine up on this. Regular seeders are found in the store under seeders. Any one of these, you have the icon down here for oilseed radish. This is just a regular old seeder here. If I switch this over to oilseed radish, and we're also going to do some kind of testing at the end, but if I go ahead and I start planting it, just like that, you can see, and you can see, look, it uses hardly any seeds to plant. So it's actually really inexpensive in terms of how much area you can cover to get that fertilizer. It's a really cheap fertilizer in terms of that. So that is one of the big advantages there. You can see like this whole area would definitely cost us, you know, maybe 20 bucks, 30 bucks of solid fertilizer or liquid fertilizer. But down there, bottom right hand corner, we use 3 liters of seed, which is, you know, maybe $1, if that. So it's pretty cheap to do. But you can see we're not going to have fertilizer right off the bat, and I'm going to go ahead and just lift it up. We don't need to plant the whole field. So first step, again, plant it, and then all we got to do is wait a month. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and go to a house real quick, and we're just going to go ahead and skip. Sure, we can go to noon, and then we'll go to noon the next day. Just going to skip us forward to noon here. I'll bring you guys back in once we hit the next day. All right, it is noon. Let's hop over. You can see it is grown. So go in here. There we go. There's still no fertilizer, which is okay. It's not supposed to show it yet. But you can see it's quote-unquote ready to harvest. It takes 1 month for it to grow, which is great. So if I go over now to a cultivator, which all you have to do is now cultivate over top of it. Really easy to do. When you cultivate it into the ground, which you can take a look at it here. It's nice, just small plants. But when you cultivate it into the ground, if I drive forward, just cultivating it, you can see here it is now, well, seedbed. It's no longer ready to harvest. And if we go over here, we now have a layer of fertilizer down. So that's all fine and dandy. That's the basics of it. And now you can plant whatever you want to over that cultivated state. Now here are the questions I want to answer. I kind of have 3. I have a Novag seeder over here, which now actually fertilizes since they fixed it with the last update. So I want to see if we just plant oilseed radish with this guy. So if I change this over to oilseed radish, if we plant it with, I'm going to add some fertilizer in here. Oops, nope, that didn't do it. There we go. This should add a layer of fertilizer plus have the oilseed radish growing. So if we lower it down, turn it on. This thing may not have enough horsepower to pull this. But it should be adding a stay up. It's adding fertilizer. So now I'm going to just fast forward a little bit here. I'm going to just put a short strip. Doesn't have to be too long. And then I'm going to bring you guys back in. And we're going to see if when we cultivate this in, if we now have 2 layers of fertilizer all in one go on there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys back in after I get this planted and fast forward a day. All right, it's been a month. It's grown up. I didn't get very far, as you can see. Obviously, we have, well, 1 state of fertilizer on there right now, but if I lower this down and we start cultivating over it, now do we have 2 layers is the question, which we do. So you can do that. Now, another question I have is, can you direct drill it over top of a harvested ground? So if I don't need this menu here. So if I make this ground here, if I just go to wheat and we do harvested, 0 for all that, perfect. Let's go ahead and apply that. This is a harvested piece of ground. So if I use a direct drill, which unfortunately this is the direct drill I have over here, I'm assuming I can just direct drill it right over the top. Yep, so there we go. We can direct drill it. No problem. Well, maybe a problem for this tractor and seeder combo, but we can direct drill over the top of a harvested crop, which is great. Now, the next thing I want to find out, which is just really quick here, if we had this, if this whole field was oilseed radish, can we direct drill our next crop over top of it and just do it all in one step? So let's say, oh, not this one. I keep hitting the wrong buttons here. So let's make this oilseed radish. I think there's only, 2 states there. Okay. Spray level, let's apply that. All right, we got it on this field. Could I then, let's say, I turned seasons off, by the way, as well. Oh, I can turn it off. And then let's say I wanted to plant wheat over top of this. Obviously, we have no fertilizer on it right now, but if I lowered this down and then turned it on, would it give me 2 layers of fertilizer? Because there's also fertilizer at the seeder. Obviously, I can plant. Oh, it's only giving us 1. Okay. So it's only giving us 1 if we go over top of it. That's good to know. Now we need to know if that is because we have fertilizer or not. Or is it because of the oilseed? Well, let's empty this out. Fill vehicle. Let's do this. And we'll empty it. There we go. We have no fertilizer. So now if I go over the top, am I still getting that fertilizer state is the real question. Oh, I am not. See, that is interesting to me. So if you direct drill over top of it with like another crop, you can't skip that step. You have to cultivate it in first. So that is a bit of a disadvantage to the oilseed radish, but it is nice if you direct drilled it in. After, let's say you harvested a crop, the best way probably to do it, harvest a crop. So harvest wheat off this field, for example. And then immediately after that, all you do is take this guy right here with some fertilizer or whatever, direct drill in some oilseed over top of that, then you cultivate, and then you plant whatever your next crop is. So you can do it that way. But anyhow, that's how oilseed works. I just wanted to show you guys kind of some of the basics of it and some of the basic mechanics, but that's very interesting. I can't remember, and let me know down in the comments, I can't remember for the life of me on Farming Simulator 19 or 22 or 19, doesn't matter which one, if you could direct, I swore you could direct drill and take advantage of it. So maybe that's something that's been a little nerfed, but yeah, very interesting. But anyhow, that's what I got for you guys. If you guys enjoyed, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.